Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jai Hind, Namaskar. So, I hope I am properly audible and visual to all of you. Good morning. So, in the last session, we have like in the last session we have discussed about this India-Thailand historical relation, and then we have discussed about the other article also. Now, in today's session, the topics which we are going to discuss, one topic is India and West Asia. Now, you may have seen that the things have been changing in West Asia. That is one part. Second thing is India at G7 summit. So, these are the two articles which we are going to discuss in today's session. Yes, that is one very important part, that for some days, it's not that it is indefinite, but yes, Telegram, this is something which has become restricted in India for certain days. Okay, it has been restricted for some days. It has been restricted for some days, and I know this part, that you might be having this one question in mind, that what about the PDF now? That earlier you were getting the PDF on Telegram, and then now how you are going to get the PDF? So don't worry about it. We will arrange something. We will arrange some other methods in order to deliver you the PDF. So don't worry about it. We will try to get some option for this one also. Let me talk to the team today, and then we will arrange some methods for that. Okay. So this is first part, that for a temporary period of time, for next 5 days, there is going to be this one challenge. Okay. And I have given you this one question also, which was with respect to the child welfare in India. I think many of you may have tried to write this one answer. So tell me honestly, how many of you have written this answer? How many of you have written this one answer? Discuss the approach for child welfare in India. How can Anganwadi become a defining tool to empower the children? So let us discuss the question first today, and then we will come to the editorial. So here there is the question, there is a need to shift away from the focus from only physical health of children to overall well-being for their holistic development. In this context, discuss the approach for child welfare in India. How can Anganwadi become a defining tool to empower children? This was one question. You have to write in 250 words. So now when we are talking about this one topic, how we can approach? In the introduction, we can start with some facts with respect to child or children in India. Like we have seen this one part, that how many children are undernourished or how many children are suffering from stunting. In fact, we have seen that in the recent times. Yes, NFHS 6 data can be used here. Okay, that's correct. You can use the NFHS 6 data here. So this is one part which you can easily do. NFHS 6 data can be used here to write the introduction. That is very one good part. Now, coming to this one part, question is asking, discuss the approach for child welfare in India. That what existing mechanism is there for child welfare in India. So here what we will do, we will first make this one part, that the existing approach. Here we are going to define this, that how we are focusing on, how we are focusing on the food and health care of the children. We have improved the institutional delivery. We have also gone for providing midday meal scheme. So here what you will do, all the different options, all the different approaches which we are following, you are going to discuss each and every approach. That at school level, at PDS level, we have Matri Bandhu Yojana and so many other yojanas or schemes which are there for the physical health, But then you can mention this one part, after discussing this one existing approach, you can mention through a flow chart that what challenges are existing. What challenges are existing? This is something which you can mention through a flow chart. Then after, you can mention this one section that what multi-dimensional reform is required. Then you can focus on this multi-dimensional reform. Multi-dimensional reform. Then you can part about, make a separate subheading that Anganwadi. Anganwadi. Okay. Now, if you want, you can use a creative thing here. Here we are talking about Anganwadi, so you can use a creative thing here. You can make a table like this. That existing role, then expected role. Expected role or suggested reforms. Suggested reforms. Okay. So on one side you can write that what existing things are there with respect to Anganwadi, that how Anganwadi is working in the present phase, and then on other side you can expect that how they can become that defining tool, how they can become the defining tool to empower the children. Okay. So this is one of the approach which you can take. And finally, the fifth portion. Here you can try to, here you have another option. Here you can try to relate with either sustainable development goal or Amrit Kal, or simply, you can simply relate it with child welfare. You have multiple options here. You can mention about either this one part, that how this is crucial for the achievement of sustainable development goals, or you can mention it that as India is progressing towards Amrit Kal, so children needs to be empowered. So you can connect with that part, or in general also you can write about children welfare. So this is the approach which you can take in this one answer. First, we have discussed about introduction, facts with respect to children. Second thing, existing approach. What approaches are there? That is one part. Then we will make a flow chart with respect to the challenges due to the existing approach. Then we are going to have a multi-dimensional reform suggestion. Then we will talk separately about Anganwadi. We will define their existing role, suggested reforms, and then we will write the conclusion. So now just see it from your side. If you are writing the answer in this manner, will it be a complete answer or not? अगर हम इस तरीके से आंसर को लिखते हैं, are we addressing each and every part of the answer? So this is something which you have to do on a regular basis. This is something which you have to do on a regular basis if you're writing answers like this. I think in the last April, May, June, we are in mid of June. So it has been approximately 2.5 months. 2.5 months, or exactly 2 months, 10 days. So in 2 months, 10 days, many of you have improved a lot. And those who are joining new, this is what you have to do on a regular basis. If you are writing the answers on regular basis, you are having the content, you are practicing the answer writing, then believe me, within next 2 to 3 months, you will be in a very good position. Like many of the students who have been writing answer, they are in a good position. So this is same thing which you have to do also. You have used Jamaican study. Yes, that's also good. That's also good. No, if you have used Jamaican study, so that's also quite good. There is one part that you are not satisfied with it. That's very good part. When you are not satisfied, you will try to make something better. You will try to make something better. So you have to keep on working. You have to keep on working that every time you are improving something, adding something more in the answer. So it's that like you have to write continuously so that one day you will be lesser dissatisfied. Okay. So if you are using that Jamaican study also, you are mentioning some case studies also, that's also quite good. Okay. So you can understand that why this is very much relevant. You are having content, you are having in fact a very quality content when you are reading the editorials on daily basis. You are getting some quality content, you are getting some case studies, you are getting some examples. So when you do this on regular basis, this is what improves. This is what makes the change in your answer versus a normal answer. So now let's start this one part. Okay. So now let's start this one part. I think you all are aware. This is something which we don't have to even repeat. I think you all are aware about the West Asia crisis. West Asia crisis. Okay. And now we see that peace treaty. Peace treaty. So we are having this West Asia crisis to the peace treaty. Here we see that throughout this time, what we see that there has been blockade at Strait of Hormuz. Blockade at Strait of Hormuz. We are talking from India's perspective now. Forget about the world. We are talking from India's perspective. There was blockade at Strait of Hormuz. This one has impacted Indian exports. This is something which has impacted Indian exports. Energy security. Energy security risk has arisen. Energy security risk has arisen. Then we see that there has been depreciation of Indian currency. There has been depreciation of Indian currency. There has been inflation in economy. Okay. It has also triggered outflow of FPI, foreign portfolio investors. It has also triggered outflow of foreign portfolio investors. This is something which has also put Indian diaspora at risk. This has also put Indian diaspora at risk. And at the same time, this has led to death of Indian seafarers. This has also led to death of Indian seafarers. This has also led to death of Indian seafarers. Okay. Now, so when we talk about this West Asia crisis, we see that all these impacts were there on India. From the very beginning to the last, we have seen that it has impacted India at a great scale. It has impacted our economy, it has impacted our morale, it has caused death of Indian citizens. Okay. It has hurted our economy, it has hurted our energy security, it has created chaos in the country because of LPG crisis or energy security risk. Okay. So this is one thing which has created a huge challenge for India. Now when this conflict started, when this conflict started, the question is, was India consulted? Was India consulted? Question is, the impact on India. The impact on India. Was it part of consideration? Was it part of consideration? Then on the other side, when we look at the peace treaty, was India in the loop? Was India in the loop? Now the thing is, we are talking about this. Why we are talking about this? Why we are asking these questions? There is one simple thing, that it is being said that India and US, we call itself that it is a strategic partnership. We call this as a strategic partnership. Okay, we call this one part as a strategic partnership. See, the West Asia crisis, it has led to all these impacts. The West Asia crisis has all these impact on India, from the Indian economy to the chaos in the country, to the energy security risk, to the death of Indian seafarers. All these things have happened against India. But in the beginning, when US was having a war over Iran, was India consulted that how it is going to impact you? Was India kept in consideration? Now the thing is, we call ourselves as strategic partners. We are making our foreign policy in such a manner that it pleases the US or other countries, or we can have a partnership with them. We have reformed our nuclear liability law. You may be aware about this, that we have reformed our nuclear liability law. We have also reduced the import of oil from Russia. Okay, now look at this one part, that what India is doing. If we talk about India, we stopped purchasing oil from Venezuela. We stopped purchasing oil from Venezuela. Halt on Chabahar port. Halt on Chabahar port. There has been a halt on Chabahar port due to US. Reduction in oil import from Russia. Reduction in oil import from Russia. Okay. We have also done reform. We have done reform in IPR, intellectual property rights. We have done reform in nuclear liability. We have done this reform in nuclear liability also. So the thing is, we are making concessions day by day. We are making concessions day by day for US or its allies. So what are we getting in return? What are we getting in return? We are calling it that that India and US are natural strategic partner. This is a democratic country. US is also a democratic country. So multiple times it has been called that the oldest democracy and the largest democracy are naturally strategic partners. So if we are strategic partners, we are making concessions for US. What is United States doing? We have seen that United States, they have put a tariff on India. Put a tariff of 50%. H1B visa norms. Visa norms. This is something which has been made further more strict. Okay. So visa norms are becoming strict. Then we see that we are having a tariff of 50%. US is also aligning with Pakistan. They are also having alignment with Pakistan. US is also having the alignment with Pakistan. So then the question is, what type of strategic partnership we are having? What type of a strategic partnership we are having? That we are making concessions from time to time. We are giving all the concessions. US is doing as US pleases itself. So the question is, what we are getting from here? Surya Patel, if you are not able to understand, then see, there is one class in the morning in Hindi classes also, sorry, on Hindi channel also. So there also there is discussion of some of the editorials. So you can see that part also. Yes, you can see that when we are talking about the policies of US, the policies of US has been quite much detrimental for India. The policies of US has quite been detrimental for India. It has been quite challenging for India. So the question is, what we are getting at the end of it? What are we getting at the end of it? So this is one of the part. It may be called as situationship. So yes, so you can call that situationship, but what we should be doing? What we should be doing? We are always talking about this strategic autonomy. We are always talking about strategic autonomy, but we should really think about maintaining it. We should think about maintaining this, that we should have relation with all major powers. It can be Tehran, it can be Tel Aviv, it can be Riyadh, it can be Washington, it can be any country in the world. So if we are talking about a strategic autonomy, we should be maintaining that. US is no longer a trusted ally. US is no longer a trusted ally. We are just wasting our resources on US. We are just wasting our resources on US. We should look for other other partners. We should look for other partnership rather than relying on United States. So this is the first article. This is the first article which we have to see. Okay. I hope that's clear. So we have looked from Indian perspective that how these things have been unfolding. Now, the second topic is with respect to G7, group of 7 countries. So can you tell me which countries are there? Can you tell me which countries are there as part of this group of 7? Which are the G7 countries? Are you aware about them? The G7 nations. Last day there was a statement from the Prime Minister of Canada. Apart from this editorial, there was a statement from the Prime Minister of Canada. He said this, that G7 is no longer that much powerful. That's why we have invited India and Brazil. There was one statement by the Canadian Prime Minister that G7 is not so much powerful as of now. That's why we have invited India and Brazil. Yeah. So here, of course, if we talk about the countries, we have US, UK, Germany, France, Italy. Then we have Japan and Canada. So these 7 countries are there: US, Japan, Canada, France, UK, Germany, Italy. Okay. So these 7 countries are there who are part of G7. But in the recent times, we have been seeing this, that India is being continuously invited. India is being continuously invited invited to G7 meetings. In fact, you will see this last year around the same time. The meeting was there in Canada. Now, prior to that meeting, India and Canada relations were not quite good. There was a conflict in India and Canada relation. There were some issues which were going on. Now, Canada didn't have any other option but to invite India. Okay. So at present, if we look at this, that the stature of G7 at present, the status of G7 at present. Now see, first of all, we see that this is something which is now fragmented opinions. Now the countries who are there in G7, they are having fragmented opinions. Okay. Now at the same time, we see that rise of other economies. There is rise of other powerful economies. Like we have China, India, etc. So we have rise of other powerful economies. That we have China, and China is not included as part of G7. G7, a group which is talking about the great 7 economies of the world. So how come China is not there? If China is not there, then as of now, how we can say that it is a powerful bloc? If China is not there, so how we can say that? Because China is the second largest economy. So how we can say that it is like very much powerful? Okay. So this is something, this G7 is not that much powerful as it used to be. Okay. Its power is declining. Okay. Its status, it is declining. Okay. So now look at this. When we are talking about India, when we talk about India at G7, just from here we can see this. When we talk about India at G7, so when we are invited to G7, now here we have to understand this one part, that we don't have to simply follow what G7 says. Okay. We don't have to simply, no need to follow G7. No need to follow G7. Rather, what we should do, that G7 should be looked as an opportunity to raise some important issues. Okay. G7, this is a platform for India, a platform to raise important issues. It is a platform to raise some of the important issues. Okay. So what issues are those? We are going to look into this, that what options are there for India. We have seen that G7 is declined now. G7 is not that much powerful. It cannot dictate the global order now. This one cannot dictate the global order now. It cannot dictate the global order. It cannot dictate the global order as of now. Okay. It is not having China, it is not having India, it is not having Russia, it is not having Brazil. So it cannot be dictating the global order as of now. It cannot do that. So now we have this option to raise some of the very prominent issues. Okay. First of all, if we look at this one by one, India can represent the global south. India can represent the global south. And when we are talking about representation, what is the meaning here? Meaning here is, we have to have discussion with respect to the climate change and climate commitments. Okay. So India can also force the G7 members to listen to the voices of developing nations on climate change and climate commitments. Okay. So this is one part where India can ask G7 to focus on climate change and climate commitment and climate commitments. That this is one part where India can represent the global south. It can ask the G7 countries that you have to consider about the climate change, you have to consider about the climate commitments, you have to give the fund. Okay. The next part will be the funding commitments. Funding commitments. India can ask for accountability. India can ask for increased contribution. So one part is with respect to climate financing, India can raise the voice, and this will be the voice of the global south. This will be the voice of the global south. In the same manner, we have also this one part that there is a issue with global trade. Here again, India have an opportunity. Here again, we are having this opportunity that we can be talking about this one part, that how there is imposition of unilateral tariff or protectionism. Okay. So India can be against unilateral tariff and protectionism in Europe and West. There is a rising protectionism. What is protectionism? They are trying to protect their industry. They are trying to have non-tariff barrier. They are trying to stop or reduce the entry of developing nations in European Union or Western countries or US or Canada or even Australia. So we see that the Western world is resisting the entry of the developing nations in their trade, in their country. So first they were exporting quality goods to developing nations. They were okay with that. They wanted globalization at that time. But now, when the developing nations are also exporting the goods, now all of a sudden they are thinking that no, globalization is not good. They are going against globalization. They are adopting anti-globalization practices. They are having protectionism. They are having one tariff or another tariff. India can also raise the voice with respect to non-tariff barriers, non-tariff unilateral barriers, such as carbon border adjustment mechanism. I think you all may be aware about this carbon border adjustment mechanism. We are having this carbon border adjustment mechanism of the European Union. So they are imposing an extra non-tariff barrier on entry of goods from developing nations. So first you have polluted the environment, you have done the industrial revolution. Due to your contribution, now Tuvalu citizens have to shift to Australia. There is a country in Pacific, Southern Pacific, Tuvalu Islands. So people from Tuvalu Islands, they have to shift to Australia because their island is getting submerged underwater. Their country is getting submerged underwater. So they are shifting to Australia for this region. So now what we see that, so you have caused this global warming. You are responsible behind this climate change. And now you are the one imposing tariff for global warming and climate change. So this is one practice of the Western countries, the European countries, against the developing nations. So India can raise voice on these issues. Okay. At the same time, this is one thing which can also be used by India for securing a resilient supply chain of critical minerals. Okay. That we can have this discussion, that we can also be building a resilient supply chain for the critical minerals. That is also one thing which can do from here. Then at the same time, we can also have for building an agreement for global governance with respect to artificial intelligence. Recently, you may be aware about this, that there is a company, Anthropic AI. They have got their mythos, they have got their cloud mythos, which is creating panic across the world, including India. There is Mythos AI, which is creating panic across the world. So we need to have a global governance framework with respect to AI. AI has emerged as one of the major technologies in the recent times. So we need to have an international partnership. We need to have an international collaboration on this front, that how we can have a better AI framework. So we can talk about this also. Okay. So this G7, it is also a platform for discussing, a platform for resolving, global conflicts and ensuring long-term peace. Okay. And at the same time, there is also an option. This is a platform for advocating, reforms in United Nations and other global bodies. So this is one thing which we can see from this one point, that how the things can be utilized by India. The G7 is presenting us an option. We need to utilize it. We need to raise the voice. And if we look at this, that in the beginning of the G7 itself, India has raised some of the very important concerns, and especially there was raising of this concern with respect to the death of seafarers in this area of Arabian Sea. Okay. So there are some issues which are being raised by India. Now it remains to be seen that how India is utilizing this platform. India is having the chairmanship of BRICS also this year. It is also having a chairmanship of BRICS also this year. BRICS is now almost equivalent to that of G7. BRICS is now almost equivalent to that of G7. BRICS has emerged as a very much powerful organization. So India can be a link between the G7 and the BRICS also. India can be a very important link between the G7 and the BRICS. So G7 is not only US now. There was a time when G7 was just United States. Now that thing is gone. We see that now this G7 is also fragmented. US is no longer in control of G7. So this provides us an opportunity that India can be a link between the G7 as well as the BRICS. Okay. I hope that's clear. that what should be done at this West Asia platform? Sir, any advice where we should practice MCQ for prelims? For a static portion, I will suggest you go through previous test papers, previous year question papers. First thing, for a static portion, go through previous year questions plus previous year test papers also. That's one part. If you are getting some new test papers, we can go through that also. These three things. With respect to current affairs, very soon I will be bringing something. So we will try to have some sessions for practice of current affairs in a separate manner. Okay, Anjana? I have been looking at your comments with respect to MCQs related to current affairs. So don't worry, we are working on it. We will bring something new. Okay. So on the basis of this, again, we have this one question. India at G7 can become a voice of global south, advocate of climate justice, champions of fair trade, and bridge between developed and developing worlds. Comment. So I think now you can write this answer. If you have to write this answer, can you write this now? Just look at the question. India at G7 can become a voice of global south, advocate of climate justice, champions of fair trade, and bridge between developed and developing worlds. So comment on this. Okay. So this is one of the tasks which you have to complete. One more information which I will like to give you in advance. See, today I will be traveling back to Delhi. Okay. Today I will be traveling back to Delhi and the train will be reaching at around 7:30. So it won't be possible for me to reach to my studio within half an hour. Okay. So that is going to be a challenge for tomorrow's class, that tomorrow I will be reaching Delhi in morning. That now I'm going back to Delhi. So tomorrow when I will be reaching there, it will be late. So tomorrow we will not have the class, but we will have the class day after tomorrow. Okay. There you can take a break of 1 or 2 days. Yes, you can. If you are having some plans, then you can go to some places for a few days, 3, 4, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, but not more than that. There will be class at 6 p.m. today. Tomorrow in the morning, we will not have the class. Today at 6 p.m. we will have the class. But if you are planning to go to the mountains, see, there is a lot of crowd already. So Rishabh, if you are planning to come to mountains, there is a lot of traffic, there is a lot of congestion. So plan accordingly. Okay. So thank you everyone. Take care and all the best. Let's meet in the next session and then we will discuss in detail about other topics. Thank you. Take care.